I invite you at this time to become still, realizing that there is only one presence. In this stillness, know that there is only one power. As you relax with your eyes closed, if you feel so inclined, as we relax with breath, paying attention to as we're breathing in and breathing out, that as we're taking in air and letting air out, know that what this process does is it creates a cycle. It is a cycle of life. It is the cycle of love. It is the cycle of health. It is the cycle of joy. I'm bringing in all the life of God that there is. I'm bringing in all of the love of God there is, and I am releasing or letting go anything that does not align itself with that. Any ideal of separation, as we exhale, we are releasing that. And I thank you, God, for the stillness that I can now experience. While anything is going on outside, or anything is going on around us, I take this moment to become still, physically and mentally. Our daily word today reminds us of one of the most famous quotes of Charles Fillmore: "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm, and I spring forth with mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me." I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. It is in our prayer time, our meditation, that we ask, God, what is it that I am supposed to do? What are the things that ought to be done by you? We bring our mind, we bring our attention away from what others are supposed to be doing. Well, the world would be better if they would just do da, 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 da. The city would be better if they would just da, 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 da. In this meditation time, I want you to ask, what is it that ought to be done by me? If they did those things, what is it that you are supposed to do? It is in this time of quietness and quiet stillness that we can listen for the answer. What is it that ought to be done by me? in the quietness, listen for that answer. In whence you receive that answer, spring forth with the mighty faith to do it. I spring forth with the mighty faith to do that which ought to be done by me. And I rise and do that, and I do it with divine guidance, knowing that God goes before me, making smooth, easy, and successful my way. And it is for this awareness that we close this time of prayer and meditation, being grateful in the name and in the power that is in the name of our master teacher and elder brother, Jesus the Christ. Amen, and so it is. Please join me. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Speak a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. Thank you, Annie. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Today, we sail another sea. The sea that we're going to sail today is the sea of constraints. And we are going to look at how we overcome those constraints. First of all, what is a constraint? When we look at the word constraint, it means something that limits or restricts. In order to be successful, this is one of the seas that it takes. We must overcome whatever is limiting us. What is holding you back? So far in this series, we've already sailed the sea of choice, meaning I have come to a decision on what it is I want to accomplish in my life. And not only have I made the choice to succeed, not only have I made the choice to be peaceful, not only have I made the choice to be healthy, I am very clear about what that is. I can't tell you how many people have talked to me during this series and said, well, you're just talking about financial success. You're just talking about this about being a success on your job. Yes, it does include that, but not limited to that. I want to make that very, very clear. What is success to you? Now, what success is to you may not be success to somebody else. Hello. What may be healthy for some people may not be health to another person. But that's the wonderful thing about this teaching. That's the wonderful thing about this message, is that you have the right to, selling that first choice, choose what it is or what it means for you. But in whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, you must make a choice and you must be clear about it. Those are the first two C's. Then we talked about the C of commitment. If you're going to be successful at whatever it is, let's say the success in your life that you are clear about is peace of mind. You have to be committed to that. Okay? There must be a commitment to being peaceful in your mind. If it is a good job, you must be committed to being well prepared and capable to do the job that is yours to do. The C of choice, the C of clarity, and the C of commitment. Once those three have been met or sailed, you are always going to find that there is something holding you back from accomplishing your good. And that's the C we're going to deal with today. The C of overcoming the constraints. Whatever it is that's holding you back, whatever it is that is restricting you. There have been those that have said in sailing this sea, it could be called or considered the sea of courage. That we have to be courageous enough to go beyond our limitations. But I submit to you today that the constraints, that the challenges, that the difficulties can do one of two things. They can either defeat or challenge you. Whatever the limitation is, depending on how you perceive it or how you address it, it can either stop you or it could be just the push that you need to overcome it. Constraints, limitations, restrictions are, yes, part and parcel of the human experience. We should also realize or recognize that we have the power to overcome whatever seems to limit us. And we'd love to say that without those certain constraints in our lives, that we would be able to do more of what we would wish to do. Now, the underlying belief in this ideal is that if in my life situation, if I didn't have X, then I would be able to do Y. If I didn't have X, I would be able to be Z. If I didn't have this, then everything would be all right. That's the real premise that some people have. If they would just do what they supposed to do, then everything would be all right. I submit to you today, what if they did it?
Yeah.
What if the politicians did everything that we sit around and complain about and wish they would do? I mean, really. I mean, let's address that.
Yeah.
Right, there would be nothing to complain about. And do you realize that there are some people who would not be happy if they didn't complain?
Yeah, that's right. Also, yeah. I live with.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Stay out of my head.
Oh.
If they did everything that we would expect them to do, that we complain, if they did all of that, the same thing would be going on inside of us, the desire to complain. I want us to understand and get this much about this message today, is that the majority of the constraints, the majority of the limitations are not out there. Whatever is holding us back is in us. Now, that being said, I do not want, or the intention of this message is not to bring a guilt trip on you by you thinking, oh, it's my fault. That is not what this message is all about, in overcoming constraints. Again, this is about sailing these 7 seas. Clarity is one of the seas that we must sail. When we are clear about what the constraint is, it is at that point that we know what we have to overcome. But if we are trying to overcome something that we are not clear about, whatever it is that needs to be overcome is still going to be there. Exactly. It's not going anywhere until we have the courage to face it. Yes. That's what this message is all about. It's about learning how to overcome your constraints, overcoming your fears. The thing that is fearful to you is not fearful for someone else. There are some people who say, oh, I could never get up and speak in front of people. I thrive on that. There are some people who say, ooh, driving up and down mountains? No, I can't do that. But Brad does it every day with confidence. That's what he does. So when overcoming the constraint, remember that whatever it is that you have to overcome is yours. Stop trying to worry about overcoming something somebody else has to overcome. And don't try to make them overcome what you got to overcome. This is your constraint. It is your limitation that you have to get beyond it. You have to have the courage to get through. I want to tell you about Brittany Hamilton. Brittany Hamilton is a professional surfer. But at the age of 13, she was in an almost fatal shark attack. And the shark, watch this, bit off her left arm. But she was back on her surfboard within a month. Wow. 2 years after that, she won first place in the Explorer Women's Division of the NSSA National Championship. Wow. With one arm. Now watch this. Richard Branson, severe dyslexic, took everything to try to get through school because of dyslexia. Went on to develop or found Virgin Records. And many more of his technological advancements now make him one of Britain's highest profile billionaires. Then we also have Chris Carr. Now I really like this one. Chris Carr, in 2003, at the age of 32, who was just beginning to enjoy life, went to a regular checkup at her doctor's office. resulting in a diagnosis of a rare, incurable stage 4 cancer existing in her liver and her lungs. Instead of succumbing to the disease, Carr decided to challenge her diagnosis head on. She attacked the cancer with a brand new nutritional lifestyle and turned her experience into a series of successful self-help books and documentaries. Eventually, she launched her own wellness website, which is now followed by over 400,000 people. There are countless examples of people who have overcome their constraints, overcome all of the odds. But the remarkable thing that I want you to all to understand about these people, especially those with physical challenges, is that nothing on the outside changed. Nothing on the outside changed. Branson, nobody changed the test so that he could pass. Bethany Hamilton, nobody went out there and lowered the waves and put a ramp out there so that she could do it with one arm. We're always expecting outside conditions to change in order for us to overcome whatever our limitation in life is. In 1955, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. told his congregation that one of the greatest temptations of life is to become too absorbed in one's circumstances. This, he said, always leads to tragic consequences. Because whenever someone looks merely at the circumstances, you will always end up in despair. You will always end up in disappointment. You will always end up in disillusionment when you get too absorbed in the circumstances. He said the great burden of life is to master the art of looking beyond one's circumstances. Ultimately, he said, the test of a man's life is how he responds to his circumstances. This is what Michelle Obama meant when she said, when they go low, we go high. Going high simply means that you learn how to strategically move through things and you develop the courage to get beyond your circumstances. But sometimes I want you to get this, though, is that those circumstances are there to help push you forward. There was one person biblically who was ready to let circumstances stop him. And he is, in my mind, the greatest excuse giver ever. I remember one time I tried to use an excuse for getting out of doing my homework. And the teacher caught me, busted me wide open. When I said, I did, what happened to your homework? The dog ate it. Teacher said, wait a minute, when did your mama let you get a dog? You see, we make excuses for not succeeding. We make excuses for not doing what is, as Charles Schumer said, is ours to do. Moses had some major excuses. In overcoming our constraints, in overcoming our limits, I want us to take a look at some of his constraints, some of the things that were limitations for him. The first limitation or the first excuse that Moses gave was, who am I that I should go? In other words, God, why me? That's something that everybody always asks. Well, why is it that I got to do it? Now, you may not word it, or they may not phrase it like that. Who am I that I should go? But this is how a barrier or a constraint is phrased. Ain't nobody else doing it. Why should I smile when I go in the room? Ain't nobody else smiling when they go in the room. In sailing these seas, I want us to see how this is practical and how this applies to our everyday life. Now, if we've chosen happiness and we're committed to being happy, we cannot smile when somebody else is smiling. I got to smile whether somebody else is not smiling. I got to do it whether they're doing it or not. What is my commitment to being happy? What is my commitment to peace? If my commitment is to peace, then and that's my choice, then I'm going to do it whether nobody else is doing it. Right? Moses says, who am I that I should go? This first excuse, some people use it as a sense of, or it shows their unworthiness. Showing lacking confidence in yourself. Out of all of the people, I don't have this experience. I don't have that degree. We're trying to say, I can't do this because of my resume. But God had an answer for that excuse. Just like that teacher told me, when did your mama let you get a dog? Because I know your mama and she is not a dog person. So I know that this is the conversation that went on between Moses and God. God's response to Moses, he said, I will be with you. Yeah, come on, it's him. God told him, said, I will be with you. If you are thinking that because of your resume, or because of who you think you are, or because of who you think you are not, that you should not do what I'm instructing you to do, I'm telling you, I'm going to be right there with you, so you're going to be all right. You're going to be okay. That's what some of us need in overcoming whatever limitations that we're faced with. Just that extra knowing that God got your back. You are not doing this alone. And this is what God was saying to Moses at this point. You are not going to be alone. I am going to be with you. Dude, I got you. Yep. But then, to try to get out of doing what he was commissioned to do, or what was his to do, he said, but wait a minute. There's another thing that we got to discuss and we got to get around. All them folks got God. So if I go and say God said this, they're going to ask me, what is your name? What if they ask me who you are? Now, metaphysically, we all know that name means what? Characteristics, what? Nature. So in other words, he's saying, but what if they're going to ask, what is the nature? Who is this God that you talking about that says A, B, and C? I need to know. I need some clarification. Oh, look, there's another C. God said, okay, if they ask what my name is, tell them I am that I am. I've been waiting for this part of the message, y'all. I've been waiting for this part. I've been waiting for this part. I am is God's name. So guess what? You all are taking the Lord's name in vain anytime you put broke behind I am. God ain't never been S-I-C-K. So why would we put that behind I am? Because God said, I am is my name. I am is my nature. I am is what I'm all about. So why would you put anything other than what pertains to God behind I am?
I just have to be in
In shifting our vocabulary, in shifting how we hold conversations, and shifting our beliefs is how we overcome this sea of constraints. What holds people back? What holds some of us back? Sometimes, not in all cases, sometimes the conversations that we have in our own head when we're at home by ourselves. This was a conversation that Moses was having with God. So just like he was having that conversation, you have that conversation with God too. What if they ask me who you are? He said, I am that I am. Now, you're like, okay. I got it, God. What about this? What if they don't believe me? What if they don't believe me? One of the four phases or branches of New Thought that we work with is the psychological branch. And the psychological branch deals with pragmatism. Pragmatism means that you, how do I want to say this tactfully? When it comes to this message and what I'm bringing to you, I'm not telling you to believe it just because I said it. Okay? Pragmatism in this context means simply for you to believe it if it works for you. This is what is going on in this excuse that Moses has. The reason God told him, said, look over there, get that stick, pick it up, and then put it down and watch it turn into a snake. Now go pick it up, boom, it's a staff again. I'll tell you why it happened like that. He had to believe it first. The reason it's difficult for some of us to overcome our hurdles is because we don't believe it. The preacher can stand here all day long and tell you over and over again, you can't do it. You all have heard the story of the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. You could listen to Dr. King's speeches all day long. But if you don't believe that it can happen for you, then don't listen to him. Ooh, Rev, did you just say don't listen to Dr. King? What I said was, if you're not going to believe it, you're wasting your time. What if they don't believe that you God? He's saying, it's not a matter of them believing that you can do it. Do you believe? The last excuse, and this is my favorite of all of the ones that Moses gave. It's my favorite one. Because this is what I thought for a long time. Moses said, I stutter. This was his excuse. I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. But I want to clarify again, because I know I've told you this, but somebody watching virtually may not have seen this or may not have heard what was historically happening at this point. We have to go back and know the history. Moses was brought up in Pharaoh's house. He was brought up in the court of the king. And guess what? The Hebrews did not speak the king's language. So God is telling him, I need you to go to the Hebrews and tell them that it's time for freedom. But God, don't you know, I don't speak French very well. I'm not familiar with the Spanish dialect. I don't know Portuguese. This is what was actually happening. He told him, said, I don't speak the language that well. I know it a little bit. But then God's message right here, or his answer right here, was one of my favorite. God said to him, who made your mouth? Everything that I've said to you, Moses, you're trying to come up with an excuse. In overcoming your constraints, or in order to get your limitations out the way, I'm going to say it to you this way. Get your butt out the way. I would be successful, but I would be happy, but I would have peace in my life, but I'm here to tell you today, get your butt out the way. Get rid of that excuse. That's what sailing this sea is all about. Having the courage to step out and do what is necessary, even when nobody else is doing it. Lastly, in Exodus, the 4th chapter and the 13th verse, Moses is finally he's like, fed up. I don't know about this anymore. I don't know if I can do this. His final plea to God was like this: just please send somebody else. Send somebody else. Can't somebody else go do this? Why does it have to be me? Now, this really isn't an excuse. It's resistance, pure and simple. It's resistance. All of this sounds fine. All of this is good. But can't somebody else do it? Why does it have to be me? Every ministerial student has faced this. And it's one of the answers that the examiners give. We say, why me? It simply turned back at us. Why not you? Why not you? Moses' excuses, I want you to watch this and see how these move. The first excuse was about, write this down, self-doubt. He didn't believe in himself. And it moved from self-doubt to number 2, the need for proof. That I got to have some type of proof. Move from there into fear of rejection. Well, what if they don't believe? What if they don't follow me? What if they don't go along with this? Lastly, his excuses was all about a belief in limitation. That was what these 4 excuses were. In overcoming your limitations, in getting beyond what's holding you back, if by chance there is a situation that you find yourself in. There were 2 grasshoppers that fell into a bucket of fresh milk. One was so upset that he quickly lost all hope, and he sank and drowned. Now the other tried hard to get out. He kicked, and he kicked, and he kicked, and he kicked, and he kept kicking until eventually, what happened? He made butter and was able to walk out. You see, in that situation that you find yourself in, it's nothing but fresh milk. I want you to be able to overcome. Have the courage to kick when the other folks don't want to kick with you. Kick when it doesn't seem possible to kick any longer. Kick when folks don't want to kick with you. Kick when the family says, but you too ugly. Kick! Kick! When things don't go right on the job. Kick! When it seems like the check didn't come on time. Kick! In this situation, whatever is holding you back, you have the power to go beyond it. If you are going to succeed, this is what's crucial. What are your C's so far? You've got to have the C of choice. You've got to deal with the C of clarity. You've got to have the C of commitment. And then you must overcome your restraints. You want to find out what the next C is, you got to be here next week. I'm done, y'all.
going to restore. I'm going to rebuild. Oh, I will forgive their sins and heal the land.
Yeah. Woo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes.
There is a barrier, there is a restraint that some of us were able to overcome today. Does that change things, that barrier, that restraint is there? No. Just like God was able to eliminate the excuses that Moses had, I have a way to eliminate an excuse that some people have. This is not something that I do on a regular basis, but I want to address the virtual audience right now. Is that we are very, very happy and very grateful for your continued support as you tune in to the services here at Unity Church of Flint. So grateful for that, and I count the views that we have every week, and I'm very, very happy with the amount of views that we get. But I do want you all to know that on a weekly basis, it runs at least $750 to operate this ministry. I need to make that known. On a weekly basis, 750 is our number, because we have a small group and it's only a few of us here today. I don't know, and I'm not saying it's not possible, that $750 can't be brought in today. But I want you all to know that this is what it takes on a normal basis to keep everything running here. And just because the snow did not allow you to get here today, there is a way for you to still give your tithes. There is still a way for you to give your love offering. There is still a way for you to give your supporting gifts. You can do it in several ways. Number one, you can mail a check in, 4506 Fenton Road, Flint, Michigan, 4507. That's one way that you can help financially make sure that this spiritual community stays alive, to give you this spiritual food on a weekly basis. Second way that you can do it is simply go to the website, unityofflint.org. Once you go to unityofflint.org, you can scroll down. It's going to be on the right side of your screen. There's going to be a donate button. I believe
After my picture.
it's up. I was going to say, I believe it's right under Annie's picture. Okay. The thing is, this is what it takes. We are selling the 7 C's for success. We dealt with number 4 today. We got 3 more to go. So I encourage you to tune in, to be here, so that you can get the others. After that, I'm going to start another series. And I know you want to be a part of that, but the thing is, in order for that to happen, this is what it takes. And we need to overcome that barrier and make sure that we can financially stay afloat. So to overcome that barrier, this is what you can do. Now, while you are doing that, whether you're sending in a check, whether you are donating over the email, through the website, I want you to do this. Take your love offering, take your tithes, take your supporting gifts, however you have come prepared to give, or however you have been directed to give. And I want you to bless your money substance this way. Come on now. divine love through me blesses and increases all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you.